Kansas City Chiefs have decided to go young in the secondary in 2020, and Rashad Fenton is one of the guys that they are betting on. Welcome back to RGR Football. I'm Ryan. This is me going rogue on the Kansas City Chiefs and the NFL. I'm also the founder of Rogue Analytics and the host at Locked On Chiefs, the podcast, so check those out as well. If you're new to the channel, make sure you like, subscribe, leave your comment below, let us know how we're doing. And today I want to take a look at Rashad Fenton, a guy that, because of the offseason for Bashaud Breeland, is going to be relied upon in his second season to play a lot more meaningful snaps than he did in the Super Bowl season in 2019. We're going to take a look at a couple of different things today. We're going to start with who he is athletically, what he did in terms of stats. And then we're going to look at his big play of the year. I really like that one, and I think it gives you an idea of where he fits within the defense and what he's capable of. And then we're going to take a look at two different games late down the stretch of the season and into the playoffs that he played significant snaps in two very different ways and what it means for how he is going to be useful down the line as 2020 unwraps and they look at playing time for him and how he's going to fit into the defense. And I want to start taking a look at who he is, what he is. And the interesting thing about Rashad is that was not very heralded. The Chiefs liked him specifically for the way that he plays, not necessarily his capabilities. His physicality and the tenacity that he showed in playing press and playing physical, even when he was in off coverage, was something that was significant at South Carolina. And it made his reputation for the Chiefs. It is very much a thing that the Chiefs identified how he plays as a guy with some edge, a guy with some aggression. They wanted to get tougher. They've said that over the last few seasons. And Rashad Fenton certainly fits into that in terms of being a DB. He's not the most athletic DB that they have, but he has some attributes that fit a lot of the mold that the Chiefs are looking for. When you look at how he compares to his draft class, there was a lot of rumors about the Chiefs being interested in Rock Ya-Sin, who I think is going to be a very good player. Chris Ballard obviously thought so too because he drafted him in Indianapolis. But Ya-Sin out of Temple is a guy that ran a 4.51 with a 1.57 start. It's nearly identical to Rashad Fenton in a 1.57 start as well as a 4.52. So not super speedy guys, but strong, aggressive, and speedy enough to stay with most receivers off the go. The interesting thing is that that's where it kind of separates a little bit. Rashad's not as versatile in the jumps, and his change of direction doesn't quite live up to what Ya-Sin brings to the table. And so for an overall athletic matrix, Rashad Fenton ended up being below average. It came in at a 92.588, which is one of the lower in this group that we've seen in Kansas City in a while. But again, specifically to how he plays, is still good enough to allow him to do what the Chiefs want him to do, and he fits their archetype. Now let's look at his big play of the season. I want to continue about the athleticism and give you a play that really highlights what Rashad Fenton's capable of. This is the first big play that he made in Week 11 against the Chargers down in Mexico City, and it went like this.
55, Frank Clark against a rookie. I take that matchup all day.
3rd down and 10. Trying to stay on the field. Give him a chance. Looking for more than 10. And it's intercepted.
I want to back that up and show you what we're seeing here. And this is Fenton lined up in the medium slot here. And it's kind of a exchange, an inversion kind of call. He's not actually going to trail or actually be responsible for this receiver unless what happens, because he's diving deep for one of the deeper zones. This is actually saying something that Steve Spagnuolo chose to do this type of call, this type of flip with a rookie. And that goes to how well he had learned to that point. And clearly, he gets a little bit turned. We only get the opportunity to make this play because the ball is underthrown, because he's a little late getting around. Right here, he's dropping pretty hard to get to what is going to be a split zone coverage that his responsibility. He's got the outside receiver, knowing that Javarius Ward's out here, but he's also got to keep an eye on here, because as this player goes and tries to split this zone, it's his responsibility. He turns now and gets into his back pedal, and that shows a decent amount of athleticism. Again, he's not the fastest guy off the line, but he's dropping well. that transition looked pretty good, and now he's got to do it again. Right now, he's checking and about to realize that he's going to get beat if he doesn't turn around and get on his horse. Watch his hips go now, and he's under. And because he actually turned a little bit late, he's going to play the ball underneath. If Philip Rivers had actually put this out front where he should have, this would have been a long game. But because it's under a little bit and Fenton's a little late, he gets it, makes a really nice play on the ball, and that's something that you don't see every day from a rookie. Now, here's a couple of plays that are really going to show you what he's capable of when playing in the slot and why they like him. This is going to be something similar to what we saw from that Week 11 play where Fenton is lined up in the slot and is actually responsible for a deep zone. And he gets back there in pretty straight order. Now, obviously, he didn't have as much depth as the other safety because he didn't have that much of a go to go. But what happens here is that he's actually going to get all the way back and end up saving this play as Ward gets beat behind him. And that is something that you have to have at the back of the defense. And again, we'll see him line up. He just went off this particular, and he's back. And now you can see that he's diving deep right from the get-go. He's going to turn and make his way all the way back down here to cover the fact that Ward let somebody get behind him. And that's something that happens from time to time. You can't really blame him for that. We're going to see a couple other plays that show what he can do playing out of that slot position, including this blitz where he's lined up and ready to come inside and the play comes right to him. That's a good blitz call and makes the tackle. That's something that you got to like. And again, with his aggression and tenacity, the team likes seeing that. And then you get here, really makes the play. That goes a long way. Him in a zone, you can see, again, playing from where he has to initially line up is a little bit interesting sometimes in that he's got to get his depth, follow his guy, but now he's got a long ways to go to get out here, make the swing, and make the play, a nice aggressive tackle. That's what they like to see. And finally, I want to show you some plays of what he does when he's lined up outside. And this is a really interesting one because this is, again, against the Chargers in Week 17, where Bashaud Breeland has just gotten hurt, and he's walked into the game. This is his first play. He's communicating right now with Dan Sorensen to find out exactly what the call is, make sure he's on the right page because they're going to go right at him. And Rivers is not one to shy away from picking on a rookie or somebody who just walked into the game, and that's exactly what they're going to do here. But he handles it really nicely. Slowly working back. He knows he's got an off protection. He's going to turn and run with it, get his head back underneath, and make that play on the ball. That's a nice play from a rookie. And as we go through some of the other plays with him playing in Week 17, where he played predominantly outside, we're going to see some more plays from him and what he's capable of doing. This is all feeding into where can you play Rashad Fenton as a sophomore in his second season. A lot of plays that, especially in Week 17 against the Chargers, you'll notice, they went away from him. They didn't want to get into it with him because they chose to go at Ward. And that is maybe just a game plan. Maybe it's specific to who's on who. A lot of these reps for Fenton were against Mike Williams, who isn't a speed demon, but more of a physical player. And that plays into what Fenton can defend better than somebody with long speed. But the fact that he got serious action late in the season against a team that has some formidable receiving threats, that goes a long way in getting him ready to be a guy who can contribute in 2020 and so on. So let me know where you stand on Rashad Fenton. Do you want to see him outside? Do you want to see him inside? It's going to be an interesting call. I think I like him a little bit better outside right now so they can have some safety help over the top and get somebody with a little bit better change of direction on the inside. But I think clearly he's shown that he can play in the Steve Spagnuolo defense. So that's what I see on film for Rashad Fenton. Why I think that he's viable to play outside, that he can certainly be a jack of all trades and play inside as well. But I think there are bigger fish to fry for him, and I'd like to see him get more reps outside, be a guy that can take on and play some of the bigger receivers, particularly in this division, with a little bit more power. I like what he brings to the table. Let me know what you think. If you think that he's good to go out there, make sure you leave it in the comments. Leave some kind of signal. Tell me, do you think he's an outside corner or do you think he's a slot corner? Where do you want to see him play the most? I appreciate all of your time. I have more coming for you. We're going to follow up on Fenton and some of the other guys in the secondary. And Dan and I are going to talk about the guy who's in charge of protecting Pat Mahomes in an upcoming video here before the end of the week. So make sure you check those out. Make sure you like and subscribe. I appreciate your time. Thanks for watching this one. Check out these other videos as they come up. They give you more information about some of these other players. and I'll check you next time.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football.
Click these videos to see more, and subscribe to RGR Football.